Daniel Groves were two of the worst parents you could ever meet. If you don't believe me, then why was their son Dylan born with drugs in his system? He was born addicted to drugs when he came out. They took the child away, and eventually, somehow, these two pieces of crap got custody of Dylan again, but not for long because Dylan ended up passing away. Jessica embarrassingly tried to lie about the ways in which her baby was harmed. They found skull fractures. Granted, Dylan was a young child. Jessica said that a dream catcher was the thing that caused the injuries, and that was her story, and she was sticking to it, while her pathetic husband was sitting there crying on the side. Now, luckily for us, we don't always have a hero in the criminal justice system, but today, on this day, we did. A woman that I could describe only as a powerhouse. A woman that I feel like must be a mother. A woman that will stop at nothing for justice. And that woman's name is Julie. If you've been here for a while, you remember Julie. Maybe you got introduced to me by Julie. And I watched part of that trial, but I didn't see the whole thing. And I was talking to Noonie the other day, and I was like, wait a minute, we've never seen the whole trial. Believe it or not, there are more clips of Julie. So I'm going to let her take it away. I've given you a small portion of what happens in this trial, but it's always interesting to listen to the opening statements. I'm going to give you guys a little recap if you're new to watching things around court, justice, and the criminal system. Long story short, the prosecutor, that is a person that is representing the state. They are supposed to be representing truth and justice. They use all the tools at their disposal to tell a story that is true, because for prosecutors, they're not like defense attorneys. They can't really lie about stuff, okay? They have to weave the truth together as well as possible. In the prosecutor's opening statement, they're going to explain to you an overview of what they think happened in the case and why this person is guilty or not guilty, and they're going to also explain what else is coming up in the trial. Then the defense is going to come in and explain, whoa, this is why this person is not guilty. Let's just see what the attorneys have to say.
State of Ohio versus Daniel A. Groves, and State of Ohio versus Jessica Groves, case number 19 CR 586 A and B.
Also, let me just say, some of you guys know this, Jessica Groves is about to cry and cry and cry. And sorry, you will not be getting a lick of sympathy from me with those waterworks. You're not going to do it. Nope. I know sometimes y'all get real empathetic on me, and you're like, no, I feel bad for her. Nope. Killed a child. Done. Bye, Jessica.
We are ready to begin with opening statements in this matter.
How's the volume?
This time, counsel for the parties may have an opening statement. Opening statements of counsel are concise and orderly descriptions of each side's claims and defenses and the evidence counsel expects to produce in support of those claims and defenses. They are not evidence. Each side will address you once during the opening statements, with the state going first. Is the state ready to proceed with opening statement?
Yes, we are.
Is defense ready? Ms. Scott?
We are ready, thank you.
Mr. Stratton? Yes, sir. State may address the jury.
The state, Julie. May it please the court, opposing counsel, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, good morning. Good morning.
Again, my name is Julie Cook Hutchinson, and I, along with prosecuting attorney Shane Tiemann, represent the state of Ohio.
BetterHelp gives you access to over 20,000 licensed therapists, meaning that you can get online therapy done securely from the comfort of your own home. My gluten-free wife, Lauren, has been using BetterHelp for the better part of the last year, and she's had an overwhelmingly positive experience with it. Personally, I'm not very good at dealing with stress. So going into 2022, one of my main mental health goals was to figure that out. So Lauren's recommendation for BetterHelp seemed like a really good fit. Based on just a few questions, BetterHelp was able to assess what my needs were and then immediately match me with a professional licensed therapist. From there, your therapist gets in contact with you within 48 hours. So you can either set up an appointment right away or send them a direct message if you have a question. If you've ever tried to become a new patient with a therapist, then you know that it can take weeks to even months to get an appointment, and then from there it can take weeks to months to figure out if that therapist is going to be a good fit for you. With BetterHelp, it's super easy to switch therapists if you're not gelling, and it doesn't cost you anything. Thank you, BetterHelp.
Along with prosecuting attorney Shane Heeman, represent the state of Ohio. Before we discuss what it is that the state must prove and what we believe the evidence will be, I too want to thank you for your service. The service that you are about to complete here on behalf of your community is very vital to our American justice system.
Thank you.
I also want to apologize to you in advance. The case you're about to hear is a difficult case. You're going to see, hear, and learn things that you cannot unsee, unhear, or unlearn. And for that, I'm sorry. Having said that, let's discuss what the charges are in this case.
Julie's a great attorney. If you've been on my channel for a while, we've seen plenty of opening statements. Opening statements of some of the craziest cases, but the prosecutor just can't come through. I don't know if it's because I'm already captivated by Julie, but I feel like I want to listen to her. Like, she as a prosecutor has really made me want to hear what is she going to say next. And, dude, I love the attorney.
The defendants, Daniel and Jessica Groves, are charged with 11 felony charges.
11
His
felonies.
Honor Judge Kuhn will instruct you on the law that you are to follow throughout this trial. If something I say differs from what something he says, you are to follow His Honor's instructions. You heard in one the phrase being in cahoots with someone. And you also heard in Ohio that the legal term for that is complicity. His Honor may instruct you that the defendant or defendants can be found guilty of the offense charged as a principal offender, in other words, the person who committed that crime, but also can be found guilty of that principal offense in complicity.
That's right.
In other words, they don't have to be the person who actually committed the crime.
But basically what she's saying is you may not have been in cahoots with the person that carried out a murder or assault or something like that, but if you sat there and watched several times, you're complicit and you're just as guilty. And my God, do I agree with that.
Complicit to that person or in cahoots with that person. You may be further instructed that complicity means aided or abetted.
Aided emotionally. She emotionally supported him and hurting that child. She did it too. Bring it up, Julie.
And you may also be instructed that aiding and abetting includes supporting, assisting, cooperating with, advising, inciting another to commit a crime. Complicity also includes conspiring with another person to commit a crime. State of Ohio versus Daniel Groves and State of Ohio versus Jessica Groves charges each defendant with the following felony charges. Aggravated murder.
That's right.
Requires the state of Ohio to prove beyond a reasonable doubt that the defendants did or were complicit to purposely causing the death of baby Dylan, who was under 13 years of age at the time of the offense.
That's right.
Defendants are charged in count 2 with murder, which requires the state of Ohio to prove that the defendants did or were complicit to knowingly causing the death of baby Dylan as a proximate result of committing or attempting to commit a felony offense of violence that is a felony of the first or second degree.
Now, I just want to remind you guys, if you have one in the chat, if you're familiar with this case, 2 in the chat if you know nothing about it. If you're just coming into this, Julie does a great job of doing her opening statement, but oh my God, does this woman get passionate? That's what's coming up here soon. As soon as Jessica Groves starts with the waterworks on it, Julie's like, we're not doing that. I think she literally, didn't she do the point? Didn't she too?
In count 3, the defendants are charged with kidnapping. Kidnapping requires the state of Ohio to prove that the defendants did or were complicit to, by force, threat, or deception, or in the case of a victim under 13 by any means, remove baby Dylan from the place where he was found or restrain his liberty for the purpose of hindering, impeding, or obstructing a function of the government. Count 4, child endangering, requires the state of Ohio to prove that the defendants did or were complicit to, as a parent, guardian, custodian, person having custody or control, or in loco parentis of a child under the age of 18, create a substantial risk of health or safety to baby Dylan by violating a duty of care, protection, or support, and that violation resulted in serious physical harm. Count 5, the defendants are charged with tampering with evidence, and that requires the state of Ohio to prove that the defendants did or were complicit in knowing that an official proceeding or investigation was in progress, or was about to be, or likely to be instituted, alter, destroy, conceal, or remove any record, document, or thing with purpose to impair its value or availability as evidence. Document or thing
Said y'all about to
with
witness
purpose
the
to
beat down
impair
of the
its value
century.
or availability as evidence in such investigation. Count 6
Thanks,
charges
Patricia.
the defendants with interference with custody and requires the state of Ohio to prove that the defendants did or were complicit to, knowing that he or she had no privilege to do so, or being reckless in that regard, entice, keep, or harbor baby Dylan from a parent, guardian, or custodian of a child under the age of 18, and that baby Dylan suffered serious physical harm as a result of that violation.
Lay it out, Julie.
Count 7, gross abuse of a corpse, requires the state of Ohio to prove that the defendant did or was complicit to treating baby Dylan's body in a way that would outrage reasonable community sensibility.
The way that somebody treats an individual after it sounds crazy to say, after they've killed them, you could give me all the waterworks in the world. You're going to see Jessica Groves sit here crying over what happened to Dylan, saying it was an accident, I didn't mean to. Well, then why did you try to conceal the body? Why did you put the body in some makeshift and bury it where no one would find it, and then not talk about it at all afterwards, and then continue on with your life and keep doing drugs, and in fact doing more drugs now because you don't have your kid? The way somebody acts afterwards really solidifies how they felt about everything.
The remaining counts 8, 9, 10, and 11, are counts of felonious assault, and they require the
Julie's
state
really
of
keeping
Ohio
her
to
composure
prove
here.
that the defendants did or were complicit to knowingly causing serious physical harm to baby Dylan. On January 10th,
Dylan time.
2019, in the early morning hours, the defendants Daniel Groves and Jessica Groves arrived by self-transport at the emergency department of Southern Ohio Medical
So
Center
they drove
here in Scioto County, Ohio.
to the hospital.
Several hospital employees will testify here. They will testify that for Jessica, labor was nearly complete upon arrival,
She's getting mad.
as she was dilated 9.5 out of 10 centimeters.
Oh dear.
They will testify that Jessica Groves refused to answer any questions and that a urine sample had to be taken by straight catheter.
That means they were on drugs while she was pregnant. They were on drugs when she was going into labor. I don't think they cared whether this baby came out alive or dead. That's the thought I'm getting. It sounds to me like Jessica eventually was in so much pain that she was like, all right, let's just go to the hospital. But she doesn't want to help the nurses and doctors take care of her because she knows she's on drugs, but she knows she's in pain, so she just wants to get to a hospital. She waited till the last minute. Most people go to the hospital when they're in labor.
The testimony will be the hospital staff administered no pain medications to Jessica Groves for several reasons. There were no medical records of prenatal care.
Oh, She didn't take care of the baby at all.
Jessica appeared to be under the influence, but refused to answer any questions about what substances she may have taken.
No cooperation with
And
medical
not giving
staff.
medications enabled the staff at the hospital to determine what had been ingested pre-admission so that they can care for baby Dylan once he was born.
Oh my God. So they basically let her go into withdrawal to see what she was on just so that they could have the baby. Oh my. I
It will
have
be
no idea.
claimed that Jessica, for some period, lengthy period, had no prenatal care because she did not know she was pregnant.
Do you believe that? Do you think that Jessica didn't seek prenatal care because she didn't know she was pregnant,
After a
or
certain amount
because
of time,
she
you're gonna know
didn't
you're pregnant.
care about her child?
That she's had a prior pregnancy and that she was once a licensed LPN.
Oh.
Baby Dylan was delivered within approximately 30 minutes.
30
And the testimony will be that that delivery was uneventful. No complications with the delivery. Not long after birth, baby Dylan was taken to the nursery and put on oxygen because he was born early and needed support.
Get in the pit, Julie.
The testimony will be that neither parent
Get in the pit.
accompanied that baby to the nursery. At some point, urine was also collected from baby Dylan for drug screening purposes. And both Jessica Groves and baby Dylan had positive drug screens there at the hospital.
First of all, don't pick up that pen. Second of all, is it just me, or does it look like this is the first time that Jessica Groves has picked up a pen or pencil in about 13 years? That was the slowest I need to write I've ever seen in my life. She ain't picked up a
As a
pen
result
since
of that, the
school.
hospital then notified Scioto County
Or
Children's
since she needed
Services.
to poke some
And
holes
baby
in the
Dylan was
aluminum
kept in the
foil.
nursery for 5 days, awaiting a discharge plan that the hospital and Children's Services could agree was safe. Initially, Children's Services believed that Daniel Groves was employed with Rural King and that he could submit to a clean urine test.
No.
A safety plan was discussed wherein baby Dylan would be placed with Daniel Groves, that Jessica Groves would not live in the home, and that her contact with the children in the home would be supervised by Daniel Groves.
I believe they took Dylan away early, but I wonder, has anyone that works in nursing or medical or anything, has anyone seen that before where they have to make the decision? You see that the parents are clearly negligent or on drugs or something like that, and they have a baby, and I imagine that there's some places where there's a nurse that's really fighting for, like, you are not giving this child back to them under no circumstances.
Complete a drug assessment and to undergo treatment and be compliant with that treatment. There was to be weekly contact between baby Dylan and Children's Services. However, the hospital would not agree to discharge baby Dylan.
Good.
Under
They
that
had one of
safety
those
plan.
nurses.
Prior to the release of baby Dylan from the hospital, his umbilical cord was sent off for testing.
Oh my God. Tell it, Julie. Get in the pit.
Baby Dylan's U cord or umbilical cord showed positive for methamphetamine, amphetamine, fentanyl, and opiates, including morphine.
Meth, morphine, fentanyl.
On January 15th, 2019, Andrea Bowling became baby Dylan's foster mother as she picked him up from the hospital.
Oh, who's Andrew?
On January 16th, 2019, Scioto County Children's Services awarded emergency custody of baby Dylan to Children's Services.
Good.
During the time that foster mother Andrea Bowling had baby Dylan, he was seen twice by a pediatrician named Dr. Ali. His medical records indicate, and Dr. Ali will testify, that he was free from injury and progressing well, with the exception of some drug withdrawals.
Wow.
Baby Dylan lived with Andrea
Wow.
until January 28th, 2019, when Children's Services decided to place the baby back with Daniel Groves under circumstances similar to what was previously discussed.
You're kidding me.
Evidence will show that Jessica was assessed by Mahajan Therapeutics for drug treatment on January 18th, 2019, and that she was compliant with treatment for less than 3 weeks.
In addiction, there are so few relapse all the time. I was gonna say, like, you know what's the most about addiction is when you make it to the second or third week, you're basically home free. when you're at the second and third week, that's where you start saying stuff like, I'm never going back, like I would never touch this stuff again, da 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 da. What they don't really prepare you for in sobriety after you hit like the third, fourth week or whatever is that one bad day where you can't handle whatever's going on and you relapse. Man, she only got 3 weeks in, but she was out the cut. She was out the cut and she went back in.
Once the baby was placed back with them, with pediatrician appointments for less than 1 month. However, from those 2 appointments, the evidence will show that baby Dylan again was injury-free and progressing well.
So they had proof that Dylan was not hurt
The
when he
defendants
was with
also
foster
were
parents.
not compliant with Children's Services. Evidence will show that between February 4th and February 25th, Children's Services was making multiple attempts to contact this family. To no avail.
Wow.
Children's Services even went to the school of the 14-year-old sibling to attempt to get a message to the parents. Finally, on February 25th, Children's Services was successful in making contact with the family at their residence at 2241 Mount Hope Road, Otway, Ohio, here in Scioto County. From that date, February 25th, to March 28th, again, the
How is the
defendants were not
defense gonna
compliant with
follow
Children's
this up?
Services contact. On March 28th, Children's Services again made successful contact with the family at that Mount Hope address. Baby Dylan was wearing a long sleeve onesie, and he did not appear to have any visible injuries. It was the last time baby Dylan was known to be alive.
So Julie is going through record by record, every record that they have of Dylan Groves and saying he was never hurt. When he was in foster care, he wasn't hurt. When we checked in on him, he wasn't hurt, all the way up until the last report.
No calls for medical assistance for baby Dylan were ever made to that residence. That's going to be the evidence. All through April and May, Children's Services repeatedly tries to make contact. Children's Services eventually calls Rural King to attempt to make contact with Daniel Groves, and they're informed that Mr. Groves had not worked there since mid-2018.
Oh no. So I think what happened, and I could be wrong here, CPS saw that the mother is on drugs, but then the father, Daniel, he has a good job where he would normally get P tested. He probably mentions that too. And so they think, okay, maybe the mom is just on drugs and he actually has a good job and he's keeping it together. And then they find out he wasn't even employed there.
Deputies of the Scioto
was
County
fired.
Sheriff's Office attempted to make contact. Captain Murphy and Chief Miller from
How
the
did he
Sheriff's
get
Office
money? Wow.
attempt to make contact. They see the
They never
defendants
tested him.
on the roadway near their home and attempt to stop them. And a pursuit ensues, and the four-wheeler they are on flees off the roadway into the woods. Juvenile court sent an employee to make contact. Finally, the Sheriff's Office obtains a search warrant for that Mount Hope residence. And on June 10th, 2019, several members of the Scioto County Sheriff's Department, the Southern Ohio Drug Task Force, and the Ohio State Highway Patrol surround the residence on Mount Hope Road, demanding that Jessica and Daniel surrender.
Wow.
The front
It's
door
actually good that CPS came down on them like this because there are so many children that are born into homes where the parents are severe drug addicts, neglectful, abusive, and some of them never get a call. Some of them, the authorities are never alerted. If Jessica had had a home birth, no one would probably even know that Dylan existed. So they were keeping tabs on him from the beginning. A lot of kids that are born to drug addicts, they don't get this kind of help. Or sometimes somebody makes one phone call to CPS, they follow up once, they're a manipulative, lying, stealing parent that has been manipulating people for money to get drugs for the past couple years, lies their way out of it, and then they never get help again. But these people came back to the house over and over and over again, and they really came down and they said, y'all need to give it up, and where's the baby?
Hours later, a robot is deployed inside the residence to locate Daniel Groves, who is not coming out at the demand of law enforcement. Both were transported to the Scioto County Sheriff's Department for interrogation by Detective Cole. You will hear that Jessica Groves maintains that Children's Services has come and taken her baby.
What? That's what she said?
Evidence will be
It's
that Daniel Groves was dope sick in there during that interview, rolling around on the floor. Evidence will also be that he tells several stories, starting with Children's Services came and took the baby.
What is the defense gonna say?
But eventually, Daniel Groves admits that baby Dylan is dead. On June 11th, 2019, Daniel agreed to take Detective Conkle to Dylan's body. Nothing was found. The
I
evidence
wonder if she feels like he traded them in. I wonder if them cops be like, hey man, tell us what's going on and we'll get you what you want. I don't know. Not saying they ever have to get it, but they could probably just say that when somebody's dope sick and they'll be like, all right, I'll tell you what you want to know.
that these two defendants were placed in the room together and began whispering amongst each other. The things they're saying indicate to Detective Conkle that she's been misled about where this baby's body might be. After further interrogation, Daniel Groves again agrees to take Detective Conkle to baby Dylan's body. Eventually, Daniel Groves leads the sheriff's office to a spring-fed well, 40-foot well
No.
in the middle of a hayfield. Members of the local fire department respond to assist. The fire department could not make it through in the truck, so they used a brush truck to get to that location. They attempted to pump water from the well. However, the pump was only successful in removing about 10 feet of the water. After that, they went back to the fire truck and they retrieved parts of an extraction kit. And with a gold metal hook, a strap, and some cord, they for 3 hours fished around in this water before they finally hooked what they thought might be the container that contained baby Dylan's body. It took several men to pull the container to the surface. Evidence will show that the container consisted of these two metal crates, or these two plastic milk crates, chained together, zip-tied, and wire-tied.
Chained together.
It was weighted
zip-tied.
down with several rocks and a round metal object around Dylan's body. The container was loaded, undisturbed, with cleaner principle.
That is so intricate. This is also some drug user engineering here. They put all these rocks in there in the container to make sure it was at the bottom. Like, it is so intentional. It is so calculated. Granted how dumb they are, it's pretty calculated. They're calculating as hard as they could.
The coroner will testify that baby Dylan's death was the result of homicidal violence. Dr. Brown will testify that baby Dylan had 2 skull fractures, 2 rib fractures, upper arm fractures, lower arm fractures, and lower leg fractures. She will testify that some fractures showed signs of healing and others did not.
So they were done at different times.
What that means.
Hey, y'all in here got kids. If you have a child, it will make you grow up real fast. Real fast. And what ends up happening is when you have this kid, you're basically, if you have a lot of bad habits, because I've seen this happen with some of my friends before. The minute you have that kid, it's like you hit a fork in the road and you're like, am I going to keep, going down this path where I only have to care about myself and I don't have a lot of responsibilities? Or am I going to go down the path where I choose to be a more responsible adult in all areas of my life for myself and for my child? And some people will kind of toe these two lines for a couple of years, but eventually people make a hard choice. And children are a beautiful thing because a lot of times they kick our bad habits in the ass so fast. You guys have probably seen some friends before that just change overnight the minute that they have a kid. Then sometimes some people decide to stay on the path of selfishness, and this is what you get.
Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, by the close of this case, I submit to you that you will have proof beyond a reasonable doubt that each of these defendants is guilty of each crime that they're charged with. And at that time, I will ask you to return a verdict of guilty as to each defendant and as to each count.
Okay.
Again, I thank you.
Thank you, Julie. defense that has to defend. You know what? I find Bose, I'm late. Sorry. Get out. Get the tardy pass. We've talked about this before. Don't come in unless you got that slip. Talk to the front office. Noonie, you got somebody to check in. I'm just kidding. Have a seat.
Let me begin the story of this tragedy.
What you about to lie to us
As most
with?
of you are aware, our community, Portsmouth and Sauter County, has been and still is ground zero for this terrible drug problem.
Okay.
We
Oh,
hear
blaming
regularly
the
about
city?
overdoses and crimes directly related to drugs. It has taken a foothold here and has devastated our friends, our family, and our whole community.
So far, his angle is the city and the drug problem is to blame, and we're all affected by this. It's affected our friends, family, the whole community. We're all in this. It's a good tactic, but I don't know if it's gonna hold up against Julie. Somebody just said, boo!
Oh, brother, this guy stinks!
This scourge of our modern society turns spouses against spouses.
Why do he sound like one of our founding fathers? This scourge of modern society has turned spouses against spouses, siblings against siblings. Sorry, but the Dave Chappelle there for a second. What's that
Turns
character he
spouses
does?
against spouses. Siblings against siblings. Grandparents against grandchildren. And breaks the bonds of family. Grandparents are raising grandchildren. And in some cases, great-grandparents raising great-grandchildren.
Great.
There are so many people trying to reverse
Okay, but
and
what does
correct
that
this
have to do with
problem.
murdering a child?
There has been this upswell in our community of people that have said enough is enough. We're going to change.
When is he gonna mention Dylan? We're 2 minutes
Yeah.
in and we haven't spoken about Dylan yet. Where's that?
The first step in winning this fight is for individuals that have been led down this path
Dude, they're
to
not getting
take
arrested
personal
for killing
responsibility
hostage.
for
They're
their
getting arrested
crimes
for
and
murdering
their
a child.
sins. And that starts right here, right now.
Okay.
My client, Jessica Groves, was and still is a drug addict. There's no doubt.
That's not helping our case, man.
Okay, all right. This is something else that defense attorneys love to do, and you'll find that liars also do this in their day to day. They'll take the worst thing and they'll say it as a fact, and they'll say, "Yep, I'm sorry, yeah," and then just try to glaze over it, and you're like, "That was my biggest bullet. Well, what do I do now?" And they're like, "Yep, I did it. I'm sorry." And then it like disarms you and you're all over the place. Good tactic. This lawyer, honestly, he's working with what he has. He really is.
He alone caused the injuries to Dylan Groves, which led to his death. She murdered Dylan Groves.
Oh my God, dude. He said, just lay
She
it
will
all out.
testify that she murdered Dylan Groves. She will testify to the injuries that she caused to Dylan Groves. The 2-inch fracture on the skull,
2-inch fracture.
the 1-inch fracture on the skull, the 1/2-inch fracture on the left arm, fracture of the left humerus,
He's trying to just say it all so that Julie doesn't have anything to say that's shocking. That's really what he wants to do.
red contusion on the right side of the chest,
I mean, this is kind of a lot.
healed rib fractures, and the drugs in baby Dylan's system. These are the injuries caused to Dylan Groves by Jessica Groves.
Bro, that was a lot. That was a
Finally,
2-page
you might
medical
ask.
report.
Why put everybody through this ordeal? Why put everybody through this trauma? The answer is because she's going to do the right thing right now. And that right thing is to take personal responsibility for her crimes and sins.
So she's going to
And that
jail
right thing
alone?
also is to protect.
Dude, stop. Stop. They said this is a jury trial. Can y'all imagine being one of the jurors and you guys go back to deliberate and you're like, well, she did it, so we should vote guilty. And then one other guy's like, but she did take personal responsibility. Like, I would lose my I think that
Daniel Groves had nothing to do with the death of Dylan Groves. It did not cause these injuries. He was foolishly unaware of these injuries. And I say foolishly because hindsight's always 20/20. And sometimes you're oblivious to what's going on.
the child was being murdered and buried. What do you
I've known for 20
What do you mean oblivious? I I need to hear that again.
and sometimes you're oblivious. This is especially true from someone you have known for 20 years and that you have loved. Dylan Groves died on March 28th, and Daniel found him unresponsive. Once he found him, panic and confusion set in. And with that panic and confusion came poor decisions that leads us all to here today.
Y'all remember Julie's line? Does this look like panic?
Did he help hide the body? Yes. Did he suggest the well? Yes, he knew where this well was. Did he help craft the coffin and preserve Dylan? Yes, he did. But that is all he did. Jessica Groves.
Girlfriend's a drug addict. Fracture. She's still on drugs. He suggested the well. He made the crate. I don't know how any of this looks good. Like, I get the tactic of let me try to say what it was and try to get it out of the way early. I don't think any of this is good.
One of you today taking personal responsibility for her crimes.
Ladies and gentlemen, good morning.
Maybe this is Jessica's attorney. This must be. You're kidding me. Julie had a 20-minute opening statement, and then theirs are respectively 5 minutes and 5 minutes.
Ms. Groves is the principal perpetrator in this matter. And that is in a position that has actually been held by the state
What about
in
Daniel,
this
though?
case since this case was arraigned
feel
right
like-
here in this courtroom.
What the
In
hell
fact,
is
Ms.
crying
Hutchinson
for?
actually called Jessica Groves.
Jessica is ready to go fully into the cry, and then someone said objection. She looks up like,
Actually called Jessica Groves.
that was Julie. Julie said, "Excuse me." Her statement isn't even 3 minutes. Oh my God, bro!
And the red flag has now come out.
Justice for Dylan. Give it to us, Julie. Get in the pit.
As I was saying, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, even the state in this case, and Ms. Hutchinson, as far as that arraignment in this matter, when this case was right here in this court for the very first time, actually labeled Mr. Groves as the perpetrator. That will be the position that Mr. Groves will hold. That is the position that actually Jessica Groves is going to own in this matter, as you
What?
heard from the opening statement.
I think they're both pieces of shit. But I mean, I guess you gotta pick one person as principal perpetrator, but y'all both nasty.
You also heard Mr. Tiemann yesterday in his voir dire and questioning of the jury. He said that they have the burden, they have the standard that they have to prove, and I will ask you that you hold them to that standard for each and every case, each and every charge in this matter. They are the ones that have to prove each and every element. They have to provide you evidence.
Do you know?
facts that
Do you guys see why they don't bring up Dylan, the victim that this whole case is about, their child? Is because they don't want the jury to feel sympathy for Dylan. The minute that the jury starts to feel sympathy for Dylan, it's over for the defense.
And I would ask that you hold them to that burden, hold them to that standard, hold them to that beyond a reasonable doubt that he spoke to you about yesterday, that the judge is going to fully instruct you on. We're going to ask that you make sure, prior to rendering your verdict, that you either have the facts that support that case.
Okay, they don't have anything. Bro, they really got nothing.
Ladies and gentlemen, you heard my co-counsel in
All
this
right, here's
matter,
who's gonna try to get into it.
Mr. Stratton, who's representing Mrs. Groves, talk about how my client participated in helping her dispose of the body. You heard Ms. Hutchinson get up here.
Participated in helping dispose of the body. It's so interesting to see how a prosecutor would word that thought versus how a defense attorney words that.
That my client actually, after some misconception, that he did lead the law enforcement agency to the recovery of Dylan's body. But that's it, ladies and gentlemen. He only helped dispose of the body. He did eventually cooperate with the police because
how
he
did the
couldn't
body
lie
get
about it
there?
anymore. And I believe that you will hear law enforcement come in and talk to you about that. He led them to where Dylan had been placed. He did not cause his death. He never kidnapped him. He never caused his death. He never endangered him. He never interfered with custody. He never caused harm to this child.
But he disposed the
Not be
body.
the source of felonious assault that he has also been charged with. And that's what I want you to listen for. Either that's going to be proven or not proven.
Now, this is prevalent in our society. And we really be sitting there sometimes like, I didn't do anything. Y'all know that he had more to do with
Oh,
this.
she got the
than
flag
that.
out.
He was the one that was complicit. Just that they were both participating.
And it is our position that that will not be proven by the state. That will be accounted for by the actions of Jessica Groves. And she is going to own all of those actions. And she will tell you in her own words, or we anticipate her telling you in her own words, how, whether you call it my client was blind, whether you call it that he was foolishly unaware.
Didn't care? No,
as Mr.
didn't
Stratton
care.
pointed out.
Did not care. If you see a baby crying, disheveled, hungry, whatever, and you make a choice to continue to tend to your own needs, that is a choice. That is being, that's not just being complicit. That's literally making a choice. You guys know I try to give leniency when it's a public defender that's just trying to do their job, but like, I personally would not be able to do this job. I could not do it.
He had no participation.
Oh,
He was not the source of the injuries that resulted in Dylan's death.
if Daniel was the father, he made a choice to see if Jessica, even if it was quote all her fault, was pregnant with his child. He didn't do anything. He was not a father in that moment either. I hate the thought of them saying, oh, you know, she's going to take 60% responsibility and he's going to take 40 or 70, 30 or whatever. Like, to me, they are both equally horrible people that made horrible choices and could have done anything at any point to save their son. If one of them stood up and gave pushback to the other, they could have done something. I think if both of them were so weak-minded that if one of them had said anything, pushed back on anything, the other one would have done it. Like, they would have been like, okay, you're right, we need to go take care of this child. I 100% believe that. What you guys are about to see is Jessica and the attorney that's basically on her side, lobbing her a few questions while she gets to cry. I really want you to see the first part of this so that you can see afterwards how much the energy changes when Julie comes in.
Did you, and you only, cause the death of your son, Dylan Groves?
Yes.
Did Daniel Groves participate in the killing of Dylan?
No.
I don't think she even believes that.
Was Daniel Groves aware of any of the injuries that you caused Dylan that may have led to his death?
No.
Did you hide all injuries that you caused Dylan from your husband?
Yes.
She hot? Okay, this is going to be my take. Now, I want to reiterate one more time. Jessica Groves. But what I want to point out here is something that I could possibly see happen on the back end on the legal. This isn't all the time, but when there are couples where there's a female drug addict and a male drug addict, there seems to be this dynamic sometimes where sometimes the guy is the main drug addict and the girl kind of gets swept up to it because she'll do anything for the guy. She'll do anything to keep his affection, his attention. These are also like when you see these couples abusing kids sometimes, a lot of times it's just somebody trying to be cool girl and like going with the flow and all this shit, right? It seems like Jessica is the type of person that will do anything to keep her like man's affection or attention. And so if the legal team in the early stages before they've been separated for a long time can convince her like, hey, you should, you know, he didn't do anything, you should really take the fall for this, like, she'll do it if she's the type of person that would like do anything and everything for her husband, including hide murder. They all made a choice here, but it's just I feel weird about them not taking equal responsibility.
You know what she looking at. You are.
The injuries that Dylan sustained happened on what date?
27th,
Dylan died on what date?
March 28th.
Jessica comes off to me as somebody that has no emotional maturity. Like, she comes off as she's stunted, still like a little kid. Right now, to me,
she's acting like a little kid that's in the courtroom and being asked a bunch of questions about the bad things that she did. And another reason why I think that she has no emotional maturity is because whenever Jessica has had a problem, she just did drugs. She just probably drank, did drugs, fentanyl. Like, dude, come on. So she doesn't have any emotional tools at her disposal. So right now, she is just an 8-year-old girl in this courtroom. And that's why she's crying. She's not just crying because she feels remorse. Because when you guys are watching her cry, you probably don't pick up the remorse that she thinks she's putting out. To me, this looks like a girl that's 8 years old and just crying because she's done something bad. That's more the vibe that I get rather than remorse.
As she previously testified, Patricia Kraft said that she had looked at Dylan. Did she do anything else?
Objection. Leaving.
Your Honor, did Patricia Kraft do anything else to examine Dylan? Where did you take Dylan after he died?
He was at our house for a couple days.
Then where did you take him?
To the well. What? Oh my god, dude.
Did you murder Dylan Gross?
This whole line of questioning sounds like a setup.
Did you murder Dylan Gross?
And also, if Jessica has the emotional maturity of a little kid, you can coach her to say anything. Am I tripping, or does this not sound like it was all rehearsed?
Does the state wish to cross-examine the witness?
Yes, Your Honor.
Hutchinson, you may inquire.
Listen, we've seen this part before, but let's run it back.
This is a certified hood classic.
Oh my god.
I have stood here and admitted. Answer the question, please. How did you cause these injuries? It was an accident. Not your excuse for what happened. How did you cause these injuries?
Yeah,
How
you
did you
get
cause
it.
those rib fractures?
You know, in the beginning of this, when he says she's going to take responsibility, it reminds me a lot of how in online narratives, people are always like, this person needs to be held accountable. They need to do this. They need to say sorry. Da, 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 da. And have you noticed how a lot of times when people are asking for accountability or someone to take responsibility, it never feels like enough, and people always ask for more. That's because when people ask you to respond to something bad you've done, they want to know that you're never, ever going to do it again. And a lot of times, unfortunately, the way that we as human beings know that someone is never going to do it again is when we sense shame, embarrassment, like remorse, being frozen, them being completely submissive. When somebody is in a very submissive position, that's usually a signal to us as humans, they're never going to do this shit again. Like, they have come off their high horse, it's over, you know? So Jessica's sitting here and crying and just saying, like, well, I admitted it. It doesn't do anything for anybody. The jury's not going to let you off just because you admitted everything that you did. Like, it feels like you would go out there and be irresponsible all over again.
I don't remember. How did you cause that 1 inch?
How do you not remember killing something?
It had to be from dropping him. How did you cause that complete upper arm fracture? Nothing that I ever did was intentional. I'm not asking.
Nobody gets to look at your intent.
Cause that complete upper arm fracture. Tell the jury. I have to live with this for the rest of my life.
Good for you. Answer the question.
You have devoured my family.
What? You have devoured my family. What does she mean by that? What does she mean by that?
I've admitted to my guilt. And I have to live without my children. I'm done talking to you.
Children, there were multiple.
Sitting on the witness stand. Tell them how you caused that injury.
You know what though? In my time now watching court cases, Julie's not supposed to act like this. Y'all know, if you watch a lot of cases with me, you know at this point, Julie's supposed to keep a low composure. I mean, we here for it, but I ain't never heard anybody in the pit like this.
You get it, Lily.
Tell them how you caused that injury.
Like, Camille ain't even come out that hard.
Judge, I'm asking you to instruct the witness to answer the question.
Tell her to answer the question.
Testifying, you're subject to cross-examination. You have to answer the questions on cross-examination.
And if your attorney can't feel you, you have to answer.
It's a relevant question. You will answer the question at this time.
It's like a little kid. See, when she's going through her rehearse lines, she could just answer all day, but she can't.
I'll remind you of my earlier admonition to you to not discuss this case amongst yourselves or with anyone else. Do not permit anyone to discuss it with you or your presence. It is your duty not to form or express an opinion on this case until it's finally submitted to you. Ms. Groves, you should remain seated where you're at. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, you are excused at this time.
I did not zoom in on the justice with her crying. So the judge has basically said, Julie, take it down a notch. We're at a 9. We need you to bring it down to a 4.
Tell the jury how you caused that complete upper arm
He said,
fracture.
cool it down, Julie.
You don't remember? No, I don't. You remember the day this, you said the injuries were caused on the 27th. You died on the 28th, so you remember all that detail. But you don't remember how you caused that upper arm fracture. No, I don't. Tell the jury why you wrote on your calendar on April 24th, worst day ever when Daniel, but there was no entry about the worst day ever when you killed that baby.
That right there kind of backs up what I was saying before about how she would do anything for Daniel, but her own child that she carried inside of her to term for 9 months out the window. Only cares about the relationship between her and her dude. Do anything for a man, even take the fall from him right up until the end.
I didn't kill my baby. You did accident. How did you cause those injuries? I don't remember. Then how do you remember it was an accident? Because I would never. Yeah. Never. How did you cause those injuries? I don't remember. I done told you that. And the worst day ever, the day that I lost my last child, both of my children. Look at this photograph, Jessica Groves.
Don't, editor, don't do it. Do not. Don't do it.
Look at this photograph, Jessica Groves. How do you not remember that? Tell the jury how it's possible that you would not remember doing that, if in fact you did it. Because mine wasn't clear. Why? Because of drugs. Are you on this jury that all of these injuries occurred at one time? In one incident?
Ooh.
No.
Okay.
How many times did you attack baby Dylan?
That's
I
right.
never attacked him.
Of course she doesn't like
Then how
that.
many accidents did you have, Jessica Groves? I don't remember. Tell us what the accidents were. You keep asking me the same questions because you're not answering the question, ma'am. I told you I don't remember. When was it that your husband realized you were pregnant? Wait a minute. When was it you realized you were pregnant? Probably when I was about 5.5 months. Which was when? What month? October. But your husband knew you were pregnant. Toward the end of October, beginning of November. How is it your husband didn't know you were the time you were pregnant? Because I kept it a secret. Why did you guys tell your son that a dream catcher heard that baby?
That's the dumbest
Because
thing I've
it
ever
did.
heard.
think that Dreamcatcher had injuries to that extent.
So that accident didn't cause his death.
No.
That sounds to me, I didn't think that dream catcher had injuries to that extent. That sounds like she almost wanted to say, I didn't think that the dream catcher could do that. She's trying to say it was an accident, like he got tangled up in it or something like that. Like, absolutely not. But if she had something with a thick frame and she was hitting her child with it, he's very young. It could do some major damage. That's what it sounds like she wanted to say there, and she had to correct herself.
Why didn't you tell Jody Kunkel there were all these accidents that killed my baby?
Because I was scared.
Of what?
Getting in trouble.
Everything.
What's everything? You were scared of what?
Of admitting the truth.
Tell the jury what the truth is.
I
You didn't
don't,
tell Detective Kunkel what the truth was. You didn't tell your son what the truth was. Tell this jury what the truth is.
I don't remember it all.
Why didn't you tell your sister Stacy Hall what the truth was? You told her this had nothing to do with drugs. I swear, nothing, Stacy. I would tell you.
Me and Stacy has not had a lot of communication over my 40
Ma'am, why
years.
didn't you tell Stacy the truth? That's the question.
Why would I?
Why wouldn't you?
I've never had any family support
I'm
over
not
my
asking about
40
your life history,
years.
ma'am. Why didn't you tell Stacy the truth?
Why would I?
Don't ask me questions.
Me and her's
Answer the
not
question.
that close. She is a half sister
Okay.
that we have never had that close
40
relationship.
years old.
So you lied to her.
Yes, I did.
And you lied to your son.
Yes, I did.
And you lied to Detective Kunkel.
Yes, I did.
But you want this jury to believe you just don't remember and you're not lying to them. Look at these ladies and gentlemen and tell them.
I can't tell you something that I can't remember.
Who wrapped this baby's body in 6 layers of plastic and duct tape? Who did that?
I did.
You did. Daniel Groves didn't help you with that?
Yes, he did.
She wasn't supposed to say that. Her defense team's sweating right now.
Tell him about that. Concealment.
Rope him right in. Rope him in.
I wanted to be able to go back and get my baby.
Ma'am, I'm not asking you for comments. Tell the jury about the day you wrapped that baby in plastic. Tell them what happened.
I don't quite remember it all.
You don't remember that either.
A lot of times people that can disassociate very heavily, they initially learn to disassociate from all the bad things that are happening to them and around them. But eventually that disassociation can turn inward, and granted, she was on drugs, but you can disassociate from your bad behavior. You've probably met people like that before. They do something really bad and they just completely turn it off, and they're like, that didn't happen. I'm okay. We're cool, right? And you're like, what the do you know how bad you screwed me over? And they're like, what do you mean? And they just live their life guilt-free by disassociating from their own bad behavior. So when she says that she doesn't really remember, I think it was a combination of drugs and her own disassociation because she doesn't want to face the music.
I remember bits and pieces, but no, I don't remember. Because when he died, part of me died.
No.
Where did you get all that stuff to wrap baby Dylan in?
I don't remember.
Outside, I guess.
You guessed. No, I'm asking you for real. Where'd you get all this stuff?
I sure didn't get it out from under the kitchen sink.
And now you want to get sassy.
Smart Stacks Pro with RNAi technology, a proven BT-based defense, plus an entirely new mode of action to defend routes on even the toughest acres. The future of defense is here. Defend like a pro.
And now you want to get sassy.
3 padlocks, 12 zip ties, 8 wire ties, 18 rocks. You don't remember that?
Not in detail, no, I don't.
That's not a whole heck of a lot of cleaning.
No,
Why would you do that if you can murder this baby on purpose?
because I was scared.
Scared of what?
Getting in trouble.
Losing
Is
everything.
that why you're in here telling this jury the story today? She's not answering the question.
Make sure you don't talk over each other.
Yes, Your Honor. I want you to explain to the jury this process up here.
I can't
Why?
because I don't recall.
Who drove baby Dylan out of that well?
We both
Both of
did.
y'all, yeah,
Tell the story how that happened
they
and
did
what
it
you
together.
We took him out to the well
How'd you get there?
on the four-wheeler.
And then what?
We put him in the well and we sat in the field and cried.
I don't do that for 1 second. I think that they put Dylan in the well, and then they went home and they did more drugs.
Why is it that when we watch this video, you and your husband at the sheriff's office, there's not all this crying? I'm so worried about the dogs. Is that what you said?
I was in shock. I've been in shock. I've never got a chance to grieve the death of my baby.
You never planned to.
Judge, I have additional questions, but I'm not gonna ask them.
Oh my god, that's pretty funny.
Jessica?
You look bewildered. Jessica, we're gonna go off script for a minute because Julie just asked us some hard-hitting questions, and I didn't prepare you for this because you're a little fragile and have the skills of a small toddler.
You're finally coming clean, correct?
Yes, I am.
Back to the script. Dude, he is texting my queen in the If you are feeling a lot of empathy right now for Jessica because she's crying, you're gonna get played a lot in your life. Take it from me, my boy. Like, if there's anything that I feel bad for Jessica about, it's that clearly the woman had a really hard life. I believe she probably had a really hard life, a really traumatic life. And she didn't have the tools to work on those things. She didn't try to find them. She didn't have access to that. I don't really know. And then by the time she's in her 30s and 40s, she just continued doing hard drugs. That was a choice. That's a choice that we often know is bad. But if you know something is bad and you continue to do it, then you are making a bad choice. No matter what tools you do or don't have, you know what a bad choice is. And you can say, well, man, I don't know how to stop doing this thing, but I know I need to stop. And she didn't do that. I don't have any sympathy for people that make the same choice over and over and over and over again when they know that it's bad. When you make a bad choice 5, 10, 20 times, you become a bad person. Point blank, period. And no amount of tears is going to change that. No matter how hard drugs that you're doing, you get to a point where you know you need to get help. Jessica was clean for 3 weeks. I have way too many thoughts about this, and there are way too many nuances in it. I'm not getting caught in that trap right now. I think a lot of y'all that watch me, you know how I feel. There are so many people I know that could be on the hardest drugs. They could be doped the fuck up. And if they see somebody shaking a baby, they're gonna be like, oh, dude, you can't do that. That's a baby. We should get that baby to a hospital. That's what I meant, okay? That is absolutely what I meant. So many addicts would take care of the child if these people made that choice.
However, do you recall whether or not Daniel Groves participated in the actions that caused Dylan's death?
No, he did not.
Okay.
But you said
Did he in any way cause Dylan's death?
No.
Did the dream catcher falling on the baby cause some bruising on Dylan's head?
Did the dream catcher falling on the baby cause a bruise on his head? There's no way the jury is going to buy that.
Slightly.
Is that what we heard Daniel Jr. testify to yesterday?
Yes.
Was there a laceration as a result of that bruising?
No.
Did that result in his death in any way?
No.
Originally, you were scared of admitting the truth, correct?
Yes.
You're admitting the truth during the course of this trial,
Yes, I am.
and the truth includes that Daniel Groves did not participate in Dylan's death, correct?
So much of this is them just bailing out Daniel Groves, and that bothers me so much, dude.
The only part that Daniel Groves participated in was helping you to dispose of Dylan's body and place his body in the well.
I never noticed this about the Jessica Groves trial. 60% of their argument is like, by the way, it was all your fault, right? This guy over here, you know this guy, you love him, you know him, it's your man, you do anything to protect him, right? He's good, right? And you did it. You did it, Jessica? Okay. All right. I feel like that's really taking advantage of her. She's in the throes of addiction. She feels like her life is not important. She feels like she's nothing. She feels like she's nobody, and she's constantly trying to mask those feelings. That is the exact person that would give their life for somebody else. And in this case, it's
Daniel.
He was not aware of any of your actions that caused baby Dylan to pass away, correct? Did he help you hide those actions?
How many years did he do?
Yes.
But only by disposing of the body after Dylan had already passed away, correct?
Yes.
You both took great care to wrap his body in plastic.
Yes, we did.
You guys took great care to wrap his body in plastic. I can't listen to the defense anymore. That's too much for me. This gives me so much more context to why Julie was so upset. It wasn't just because she wanted justice for the child, but it's also because she wanted the fairness of both of them going down. Julie was so passionate because she had to prove that both of them were equally accountable. Now, I know that we've seen her closing statement before, and it's kind of long, so we're not going to watch the whole thing. I just want to see part of her statement again to see if it matches up with this new perspective I feel like I see.
At this point, I have good news and I have bad news. The good news is that your service here as jurors is almost complete. The bad news is that the most difficult part of your service is about to begin.
She's honestly
That is
really good.
deliberations. His Honor Judge Kuhn will instruct you as to the exact law that you are to follow and what applies in this case. But I'd like to take a few minutes just to assist you in understanding what it is we believe we need to prove here, what we have proved, and how that relates to the charges. We discussed at the beginning of the week, as to all charges, the defendants are equally charged and can be found guilty
Equally
as the
charged.
principal offender or by acting in complicity. In other words, if you find that either of these two defendants aided or abetted the other, each defendant is guilty.
She really is fighting to make sure that there is justice for Dylan and Daniel gets equally charged. That's what she's trying to do. And she's pissed that they tried to pin it all on Jessica too.
His Honor will further instruct you that complicity includes conspiring with one another to commit offenses. Again, if something I say differs from something Your Honor says you are to follow his instructions. So let's talk about the charges and the evidence that you've heard this week. Count 1 again is aggravated murder. The state of Ohio must prove beyond a reasonable doubt that the defendants did or were complicit to purposely.
I think they did.
We'll go through some of these individually. Purposely, I submit to you, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, that multiple rib fractures are purposeful injuries. Those aren't accidental. I submit to you that multiple skull fractures that happened at different times, and even at a time different than the rib fractures, are purposeful. I submit to you that the multiple complete arm fractures and leg fractures are purposeful.
Head, ribs, arm, legs.
Can I say what mechanism was used to cause baby Dylan's injuries? No. And you heard defendant Jessica Gross, she can't remember what happened. I submit to you, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, you are the finders of fact. You go back to the jury room and you determine what happened here. Did failure to seek emergency medical care after multiple serious injuries over a period of time cause baby Dylan's death? She can't remember.
Dude, she's so
And he
good.
did nothing.
That's right. His own flesh and blood did nothing.
Element, count 2 murder requires the state of Ohio to prove beyond a reasonable doubt that
They know they're going to do.
these two defendants did or were complicit in knowingly. His Honor will instruct you that a person acts knowingly, regardless of their purpose, when they're aware that their conduct will create a certain result. Are you aware that 3 violent incidents is probably going to result in a baby's death? Daniel Groves doesn't see anything wrong with bashing a baby in the head 4 times.
That's it.
Or picking it up and squeezing it and shaking it.
Oh,
You
wow.
can do that to a baby? He watched this happen to his own son, baby Dylan, he says by his own wife. The man that Children's Services placed this baby's safety upon did nothing. That's not complicity. You let her around that baby one more day after you saw that, and you're not complicit to this whole thing?
Dude, y'all know I don't know how to shut the hell up, and Julie is the one person that can make me quiet for 4 minutes straight.
Count 3 kidnapping requires us to prove that these defendants in this case, again, baby Dylan was under 13, so by any means, they removed baby Dylan from the place where he was found or restrained his liberty for the purpose of hindering, impeding, or obstructing a governmental function. I submit to you, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, that every single time,
Dude, there's just nothing better than somebody that's ticked off and they know their stuff. Some real beautiful magic comes out of that.
you heard the testimony. The initial plan involved Children's Services seeing face-to-face baby Dylan weekly. At some point, maybe that went to monthly. You all determine that. And you also heard the Children's Services workers say that at any time, if they requested to see this baby, these defendants were to submit to that request. Whether Children's Services filed or asked criminal charges to be filed on each of those occasions is not an issue here, because you're the finders of fact. You go back there and determine whether or not they violated the law. I submit to you they did. Between February 4th and February 25th, Children's Services caseworker testified there were numerous attempts to contact these defendants about baby Dylan, such that they ended up going to Daniel Jr.'s school to try to pass messages to his parents. From that visit on February 25th to March 28th, numerous attempts to make contact. After March 28th to June, when baby Dylan's body was recovered, numerous attempts to make contact by Children's Services, by law enforcement, by juvenile court.
They would have never found out if they didn't keep calling.
Count 4, endangering children. As a parent, guardian, custodian, person having custody or control in loco parentis of a child under the age of 18. These defendants at the time, the testimony was, were not the custodians. Children's Services were the custodians. They were certainly the parents, and they were certainly the people in control. Therefore, they had a duty to prevent substantial risks of health and safety for baby Dylan. And they violated that duty of care, protection, and it resulted in serious physical harm. Actually, death. So more than serious physical harm. Did either of these defendants tell you that they made
you about to say?
help that baby?
What is it gonna be?
Could he not survive his injuries? I don't know. He wasn't given a chance.
That's heavy too, because they didn't seek medical care for him. After any of the fractures, any of the things that they did to him, they didn't seek medical care.
Did Daniel Groves create a substantial risk to the health or safety of baby Dylan, therefore violating his duty? His duty. Children's Services made that his duty. To take care of and protect baby Dylan from serious physical harm and death by allowing her to come right back around after she bashed him in the face 4 times and squeezed him by the ribcage. These defendants dumped him in a dark 30-foot well of water and left him there for months. And I submit to you, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, that had Detective Conkle not had the training and experience to put them in a room together and listen to what they were saying, we would have never found baby Dylan's body. You listen to the whispering. If they find his body, we're effed.
Oh, that's what they said in the interrogation.
There was nothing that came out of that witness stand that explained how those injuries could have all happened at one time. So you have multiple counts to consider. you are also the judges of credibility. So you determine who sits on that witness stand and who's telling the truth. Whether you believe some of it, all of it, none of it, you determine that. So let's talk about reasons why you may or may not believe defendant Daniel.
Because he just sat there and said I had nothing to do with it.
It was that Children's Services took the baby. Then it was that he just found baby Dylan dead. Nobody killed him. Next, he told Daniel Jr. the dream catcher heard the baby.
Dream catcher. I will never get over
Then,
that.
in a jail visit, he tells a female he didn't kill him or dump his body. He didn't have anything to do with any of this. And yet another version that we heard in here this morning was that he watched his wife strike that child in the head 4 times and snatch him up by the ribs. You all go back there and decide what's truth and what's not. If you believe that he wasn't the principal, to discuss whether or not he was complicit. And we talked about some of that. About Children's Services placing the baby with this defendant.
Dude, she probably feels so guilty. She shouldn't, but that's what guilt does to you. It also makes me wonder if they told Jessica and Daniel, like, let's just have Jessica take the fall. You know, she's a woman, so they're gonna give her a life. I bet you they probably ate that up. Post conspiracy land, but I just have a feeling that was a mechanism because the way that they did this is just all really gross.
How is he complicit? Who was it that Children's Services was having all that contact with? She testified it was Daniel Groves, that he had 4 different phone numbers she was trying to communicate with.
They got their child back. Why?
He was foolishly unaware that his wife was pregnant for so long.
Dude.
Yet their 15-year-old son knew and confronted her. He was foolishly unaware that she was getting so high, yet everybody at the hospital recognized it.
Dude, she is eating away at his credibility right now. Just munching on it, bro.
You heard Detective Conkle testify that he's goat sick, rolling around the interrogation room, foolishly unaware that baby Dylan was injured so seriously.
He was dope sick getting interrogated.
You've seen the picture. You heard that 15-year-old little boy describe that baby as having bruising all around where his hair would be expected.
Dude, Corgi said, now think about the son who little brother that he wished he could have protected more than everything. He probably wished he did more for his little brother. The guilt that hits so many people from 1 or 2 people's horrible decisions is just insane.
How would he describe that picture from the autopsy if that wasn't the way that baby looked? The defendant Daniel Groves didn't know, and Daniel Jr. said it was a matter of time after he sees this, the baby disappeared. He didn't know. He couldn't have called right then for emergency medical assistance to give baby Dylan a chance to survive. I submit to you that's the least he could have done. You're expected to believe that these parents, who everyone from the hospital testified, never asked questions about that baby when he was removed and couldn't breathe, stayed glued to each other, and then packaged up their baby and threw him in a 30-foot well, were suddenly so caring they wanted to hold baby Dylan every time Patricia Kraft was there. I submit to you, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, that's the way it's been from the time that baby was born to right here this week. Against their own children.
Dude, she just makes you want to listen to her. Have y'all ever heard me be this quiet before during a case? I was thinking, is it because it's late? And I'm like, no, I just get sucked into everything she's saying.
Did she take responsibility when she spoke with Detective Conkle? She take responsibility when she spoke to her sister?
No.
Did she take responsibility in here this morning when she spoke to you? She can't remember what happened, but she does remember it was an accident. Is that taking responsibility for these injuries? You're expected to believe defendant Daniel Groves, everything he said in here. The same guy who, after they say the baby was dead, tells Children's Services in a text message he's growing like a weed.
Growing like a weed.
You were told that Daniel Groves panicked and dumped baby Dylan in a 30-foot well. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, does this look like panic to you? Does it? A chain, 3 padlocks, 12 zip ties, 8 wire ties, 18 rocks, 6 layers of plastic and duct tape. Does this look like panic? I submit to you it looks like extreme calamity. They want you to believe they're not complicit to their baby's murder. But this is what they chose for a coffin and his burial?
Dude, she really turned around and looked at him and she said, this is what you... So I can't imagine anybody going back in the jury to deliberate from this. And say not guilty. Can't imagine it. Can't imagine it after you listen to Julie say all this. Nope. Julie.
Proof beyond a reasonable doubt.
Guilty.
Guilty on each and every count. Each one of them.
Y'all know the judge told her to tone it down last time, so she had to try to keep it together. But you know what? I say let it out, Julie. Get in the pit, Julie. And I honestly say, after 2 years of watching like other court stuff on my channel, Julie's one of the most impactful prosecutors. I very much feel that way. Temperamental little liar, and that is exactly what we have today in Sarah Boone. Sarah and Jorge Torres were in a relationship together. And Sarah was married prior to this, and her husband was like, I can't do this. Something is wrong up there. I gotta go. So they get divorced, not working out, and then she ends up dating him. Their relationship is very, very, very tumultuous. Okay, it's abusive. His family didn't like her. They were constantly calling the cops. They were drinking all the time. But Sarah had made Jorge horribly dependent on her. Horribly. Financially, he couldn't work. He wasn't able to make much money. She was paying for the rent. She was giving him a roof to stand under. And in fact, when he couldn't pay his cell phone bill, she said, oh, don't worry. You can just use my cell phone. Nice. Made it, just kind of lured him in. And then she became very controlling, wanting to know everyone he was talking to, trying to separate him from his family, feeling like she wasn't getting enough attention, and just driving a wedge between him and everyone that he loves. And what do we call that? Abuse in a relationship. If that's happening to you, get out. They were constantly getting into arguments. And one night, Sarah convinced him to crawl into a suitcase, and she zipped up the suitcase and she called it fun. She sat there and she literally recorded him gasping for air and asking for her help. And then she fell asleep and left him in the suitcase. The next morning, Sarah called the police saying it was an accident. We were playing. She explained it. But the one thing that she was above all was forgetful, because she had forgotten that she recorded the video that night. The investigators her phone. She was so drunk, she doesn't remember. So in this interrogation, we end up seeing her get crazy. She's got a lot of anger problems. And then the investigators do a big push to say, do you remember recording this video? And she is stunned when she sees it. Let's start when she first gets into the interrogation room.
So this morning we went to his autopsy, and we were informed of some injuries that he had by the doctor. So I want, so he's got
Where?
scratch marks to his back. I know what that's from. Okay. And
I know what that's from.
Yes,
Ready
for
to
you.
take some accountability, but not all. These people will do this so often. They'll take accountability for all the small lies to try to seem upright, truthful, and honest. But the big one? Whoa, what are you talking about?
Break the loop, breathofstressair.com.
Try to seem upright, truthful, and honest. But the big one? Whoa, what are you talking about? I've been so honest about everything up until this point. But if I did do that, I would admit to that too.
So like, say you get a kid and you get a mark from it, so that bruising, like someone hit you or something like that, it's called a contusion. So he had some injuries to his left shoulder. He had a cut near his lip. We could see his mouth was a little. I haven't laid a hand on him. Okay.
Nobody said that.
Also, too, he fell off my son's bike. Okay. So I don't know. And he's notorious for running into the wall.
Okay, I want you guys to listen for this throughout this interrogation. The killer will often throw the victim under the bus in several ways. They'll try to paint them as a bad person, and I think sometimes they're trying to throw investigators off, but they're also trying to put it into their brain that they were bad, they were silly, they weren't very smart, they did this to themselves. That's kind of what they're trying to do.
What about foot scratches? There's also okay. There's also like a scratch on like the back of his neck, like kind of like going, but it's like going straight across. And they're all recent, like they occurred recently. It wasn't something that occurred post or that occurred a week ago, or 2 days ago, 3 days ago.
Not
They
2 days, last night.
the night leading up to when he was.
In all honesty, we have not gotten into it.
Okay.
That's why, like, the only thing I thought you guys were gonna ask me about, which I was gonna be honest with you anyway, are the scratch marks on his back.
I'm gonna be so honest.
Everything else, I have no idea what it is. No idea what it is. Nonetheless, I had my son over the house too, so.
Well, your son was there when? When was he last there?
Oh, gosh.
My understanding he was there like last Tuesday.
I don't know if it was Tuesday, but yes, he was there last week, so.
Well, we're talking about Sunday. We're just talking about what occurred Sunday. Because like I said, the injuries they occurred within that time period.
So you're talking about day before yesterday?
Sunday leading into Monday. You called us yesterday at 1, but the incident, you guys were painting and stuff the night prior.
Correct.
So we're talking about Sunday and then into Monday.
Thoroughly confused because we had a
I'm
good
so
time
confused.
sitting on the back porch, having wine and smoking a couple of cigarettes, and then decided to go inside and literally paint and play.
It's so comical and disgusting how Sarah tries to paint the relationship as so innocent. We went out to have a few glasses of wine, like normal adults that listen to jazz. Like, that's the vibe she's trying to give off. We had some cigarettes. We were going inside to paint and just play. That's just what we do. We're so innocent. No, these people were having all-out fights while she was downing a bottle every night. Okay, sorry. I'm gonna go a little body language on you guys for a second. This posture, she's trying to portray it as, oh, whoa, I'm telling the truth. Hands are up. This is more like, whoa, put your guns down. Whoa, stop this. When we're like telling the truth, this isn't really the posture we go to. This is I'm trying to block you because you're so aggressive. And then she shifts into this one, which is like, what do you want? I don't have anything. You don't have anything because you did it, because you killed it. You don't have any other tools. So that's kind of, I think, why we see this sometimes.
Nobody got out of sorts.
She goes like that, then she goes to this.
Mind blowing to me. Like, I have no clue. Nobody laid a hand on anybody.
He also had, like on the left side of his forehead, he had basically bruising, and on like his head and skull.
I have no idea.
As if something hit him.
I
considered
have not touched him. I have not touched him. I have not touched
Dude,
him.
nobody
She's being
said you
honest
touched
there
him.
because she knows that the worst thing that she did was the way she killed him, she didn't really physically touch him. So she's trying to be really confident with this.
Tell me and we'll both know. I have not touched him.
Yesterday, when we took photographs of your overall body, and they did the buccal swabs, did they go under your fingernails?
No.
Are you willing to let us
Absolutely.
swab underneath your fingernails?
Go for it.
Okay.
I have no idea, and I don't.
And then she's
wanna
gonna
seem
change
out
her
of
mind
sorts,
later when they
but
go to do it.
I have no idea. We had a good day. It was a good day. We've had good days lately, even considering everything that's going on with our jobs and life in general and ex-wives and everything. It's been good. Like, I don't even know where this is coming from.
How's she about to use the ex-wives as
Yeah, I
an
think the
example?
last physical was probably, you said, I think, what, a month ago? Where you got the injury, right? You said that was a
I'll
month
say a few
ago?
weeks, give or take, yeah.
A few weeks. That was the last, like, physical altercation between the two of you? You said a month ago you hit you with a curtain rod.
Yeah, with current rod. That's why I can't believe you guys did that either.
Why is she talking? Why not just get a lawyer? Because people like this are so dumb.
Like, he's been good. He's been having his classes and
He's been having his
probation
classes,
officer
throwing him
is
under the
amazing.
bus again. His probation
So-
officer.
What do you mean by good? What's your definition of good?
The probation officer,
No, you said you guys have been good. What's your definition?
I've been good. I don't think you all understand. He comes at me all the time. He comes at me.
I told you
So
she was
it's either
gonna
I
do this, bro.
flee or try to go upstairs and go to sleep. That's usually what it is. I don't know if you talk to Brian about any of that, but most of the time when I flee, I go over there. So,
Right, but you're saying that you guys have been good, and when I asked you yesterday, there has the last incident that you can remember was the curtain rod incident, which happened a month ago, so, give or take. Right, so what do you mean by he comes after you? Like, gets belligerently drunk. Like, I don't know if y'all have looked through my phone yet.
How many times has Sarah thrown him under the bus in the past 45 seconds? When the heat is on her, she picks him up, throws him right under the bus.
To me, the pictures and the videos that I have taken. And at one point, I started documenting it. Okay. So you all will see in my pictures, bloody fingers, split forehead, he split my nose. I've got this. I don't know if Brian told you about it, where I had to have almost I had one really bad surgery, but then it got really, 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 really bad, where I had to go like 4 or 5 more times afterwards for them to tend to it. And then poking me in the back of the leg. Right. So it's. Why are you still with him? Everybody asks me that. When I tell you guys this.
Oh, so he says, so why are you still with him? And she sees it as an opportunity to be the victim. Cue the waterworks. And scene, Sarah.
I really love him. Like I do. And I feel like I can help him. I feel like I could help him, which I did, because he came a real way from where he was in Philadelphia to moving back to here and dealing with everything else that
He's come a long way.
I've really helped him.
He's come a long way. He's dead, Sarah. The man has passed away. He's come a long way because of me. Before me, oh, he was headed nowhere, and then unfortunately he's now died. But oh my God, the delusion!
Jail, 3 times? I've done everything that I did for him. Gone to see all his public defenders. Go to the state. I've gone to the state. I did everything for him because I'm trying to help him because I had hope in him, and he was trying. He was really trying. And then he starts to think about things that I think he gets overwhelmed, and then it's like,
no, that's
next thing you know, he's drinking. So it's like, oh man, I know where this is gonna go. So I'm gonna go upstairs and read a book, or I'm gonna go for a bike ride, or I'm gonna do something else. Well, I don't want to drink. I don't want to drink. The occasional wine, whatever, or if it's a weekend.
She sounds like she's trying to talk to her AA counselor, trying to explain why she relapsed again.
The time. You don't have to wake up the next day. I have to wake up the next day and do things. I have to tend to Lucas. I have to take him to school. I have all this stuff to do. He doesn't know how to, I guess, maintain himself, where I can do 60 things at once and still know the 50 things more previously prior that I need to get done. He can't process like that. He didn't process like that. So he would literally, not literally, but have smoke coming out of his ears.
The Tricepta trait protects against a wide range of above-ground insects. When the plant is attacked, Tricepta technology goes to work to control pests. The addition of a new third protein offers farmers another level of control, helping to reduce yield loss by protecting the plant from destructive corn-feeding insects. Tricepta, the most advanced, most complete protection against a wide range of above-ground pests.
Purdue University Global. Apply now at purdueglobal.edu.
He would literally, not literally, but had smoke coming out of his ears. So the next thing you know, he doesn't want to deal with it. I'm going to go get something to drink. So the majority of the time, I would hang out outside or do something else because I don't want to drink. And every time, his job broke his heart. And it made me sad because he had so much pride in his job. And the store that he took care of so much totally went downhill. And that broke his heart.
I think she's talking about him losing a job. An abusive relationship can make you lose your job. In fact, I think that's one of the first things to go if the person has enough power. If they have the financial power, or if they don't like that you have coworkers, they don't like that you're taking time away from the house, they don't like that you have some financial independence. An abuser, they will sever that relationship. They'll pick fights with you every night when you have to get up at 6 a.m. They'll convince you to drink too much so that you're hungover at work the next day. Oh, they will find a way.
His ex-wife is bonkers. She was all over him all the time. Send me money, send me money, send me money. How can I send you money when I don't have a job? And he's still trying to take care of me and Lucas by paying a bill here or there, getting some groceries.
Did he?
So he always had something on his mind.
Or was this earlier?
most of the time, I just don't want to be there. And I try to help him, I try to calm him down. Eventually, he just pops out.
Well, yesterday it made it sound like you guys were just drinking like a glass or two. Like, yeah, you obviously had the bottle, but you told me on you told me on recording, like, that you were not drunk, he was not drunk, you guys were having a good time.
I can't get drunk. Number one, I do not want to get drunk. I don't like being non-complimentous, having my wits about myself. I don't like feeling out of control.
So I'm just saying, you're making it sound like he's a raging alcoholic today, and yesterday I was kind of asking you those questions, and you're like a little defensive, like you guys were both sober on Sunday, to your knowledge, because when I said you went and passed out, you were like, no, I didn't pass out, I just fell asleep. So now it's kind of like, what is it? Were you guys drinking and it got out of hand and it got physical?
No.
Or is it?
Sunday was one of the better days that we have had in quite some time. He's dancing with my dog. You can see that too on
We're
the
so
pictures.
innocent.
Him loving the dog. He loves the dog and dancing around, having a good time, and just being happy, kind of thing. He doesn't know. I can get like maybe 2-3 glasses of wine, and I'll be fine. But I have to have my wits about myself because I don't know what to expect.
Well, let's talk about Sunday. What was Sunday? How were you? Like, how many glasses of wine did you have? How many glasses of wine did you have? The bottle was gone. I mean, I don't know if you poured any out. Yes.
No, that was from previous.
You said that there was a half bottle left
Yeah, about
over.
this much.
And then that you had went. Well, I don't even know how the wine. How did you guys get the wine for Sunday?
I'm guessing he went to Publix.
Does he like leave us and you stay home, or do you go to Publix? Like, because I knew.
Sometimes I'll go with him.
Okay. Did you go with him Sunday to Publix?
So most of the time what happens is, because the store where we get cigarettes is here, and then Publix literally is cattywampus to it.
Okay.
So what he'll do is he'll start, go by Publix, and then on the way back, catch the convenience store. So
Is that what he did Sunday?
I'm guessing that's what he did, because the next thing I know, he's walking in with a bottle.
I get the feeling that man doesn't actively drink wine like that. I feel like the bottle's for her, but I could be wrong. You know, most I know they want to grab a 40 for $2 or a 6-pack or something like that. They ain't just getting the bottle. Y'all know Sarah's over here like, let me get the 128 ounce barefoot. Let me get the box. I'm sorry.
You said it was a good day. Like, you guys didn't have any conversations about your relationship. You guys didn't go down like the rabbit hole. Like, had too many drink, and you guys start getting.
No, when I it made me so happy that he actually listened to what I had to say. With just, we'll get through it. This will be fine. It's a small hurdle that you and I together will get through, because
Talking about the money, jobs,
Oh my God, dude.
Yes.
I can't wait to see how the lawyer defends this.
Yes.
Nothing
No.
relationship-wise though. Like, no issues. Like, did you guys have a conversation about your relationship, or was it just about
Just
like
what's
distracting?
going on right now. I try to evoke it from him so he gets it off his chest, because I call him the volcano, where eventually he's going to erupt.
Right.
And what he has learned in his classes is to communicate, which is a huge thing in a relationship, where he has been practicing communication, so he actually talks to me about things and unburdens himself. Put it on me. I'll sit there and try and figure it out for you. Like, I have almost everything. Not a worry. Just tell me. Get it out of me.
She's hating
But
on him
it was-
so much.
Can I tell you, I was so happy. Like, it was such a good day. I kid you not. The weather was beautiful outside. I'm the one that had him go inside so we can do puzzles and painting and listen to music or whatever else he wants to do. So then he starts doing whatever it is we're doing together in the living room. And then starts talking, because I think he gets comfortable with, okay, you know what? We're here. It is a good day.
Dude, also,
Let me go.
can you imagine somebody kills you and then they go into the interrogation room and just start trashing you after death? Like, are you kidding me, bro?
I'm here now, and I'm still trying to help him. Yeah, we just don't. I mean, it's unexplainable how he got these injuries, and
I have no idea.
you were the only one with him.
100% right hand to God.
have no idea how he got them. Nobody touched anybody.
Watch her turn out to be an atheist.
Anybody. You had mentioned that you would take photos, videos.
Oh my
and
God!
proof and
I need to put
general.
the goggles on. This is too
But
much
that was-
for me.
That was way before, I think the last time that he got arrested,
I need to
where
be
he was
protected.
flying off the deep end. But then I had him bailed out, I got him out of jail. But because he had violated the pretrial diversion, this time it's probation, so you don't have a choice in it. You have to go to.
Dude, oh my God, please give me a one in chat every time she throws him under the bus. Like look at it's non-stop. He had violated the pre-child diversion.
This time it's probation,
just give it
so
to
you
me.
don't have a choice in it. You have to go see your probation officer. You have to go to these classes. It's a court order. Where it took him a while to get used to it and understand, they're not messing around. I even went down and met his probation officer, which
Oh
I
my
say, she's wonderful. That's one of my closest friends.
Oh, it's a she. I bet that's the only reason she went
Like a
down.
little child. He needs to go to these appointments. Now, me and his probation officer, love her so much. She's so great. We've been taking care of him.
And said how much she knows that I take care of him. She called me personally one time.
She
when
called me
George was at
personally.
work,
We're so
when he was
close.
at work. 42-minute phone call. She and I just saying how grateful she is that George has me.
Oh.
And she knows how hard I'm working to help him, just as she is, and
Because
just
she was
as
fine,
the classes
she's
were.
fine now.
So once he started actually going on a regular basis to the probation office,
Okay, here's the other thing too. I mean, it's just all just flying out of her mouth right now. You and I both know that, right? The reason that really drives that home is because Jorge is dead.
Those are the only times I had. So I have 4 and I have midnight. And there's a big gap. I'm curious, like,
We're just
if you
curious,
recall
Sarah.
when you went upstairs to hide in the shower, or
like when we started the test, I see.
yeah.
Well, we went inside probably about, I had to guess, we weren't out there too long, maybe about 6-ish. Then,
You're talking about from hanging out outside and like,
well, we have 2 beach chairs that are out there,
right.
just enjoy the weather. Plus it's starting to get dark and gnats and mosquitoes.
Yeah.
So, let's go inside, I don't wanna be out here anymore. Alright, let's go.
Shop Michael's lowest prices of the season. Save store-wide and online now through March 26th.
Let's go inside. I don't want to be out here anymore. All right, let's go. So we're doing whatever. We did it for a while because that puzzle, I don't know if they took it or they saw it. Worked on the puzzle again, finished it.
We're asking
Started
her.
listening to music for a little bit. Started paint. Can we turn the music off? No problem. Start at the top, paint, whatever. Maybe, gosh, that puzzle, we worked on that for probably a good hour and a half. So, 8 o'clock-ish?
Is when you went to hide upstairs.
No, that's when we were like painting. So then it's like, okay, well, I don't want to paint anymore. Let's just, come on. Okay, you want to hide? What he does is, okay, Tag, you're it. Which was like, okay, we know.
Oh my
Take off.
God, dude.
And then he didn't come up and you came down.
That's what she thinks.
And the suitcase was there originally because you guys were planning to do donations, so it was already there. Have you guys ever played you said you played hide and seek like probably 3 times in your relationship? When you have played, have you ever zipped him up in a suitcase prior?
No.
Okay. So it was just kind of like that prop was there, and it was there,
Yes.
and it was inside.
Why is she getting a laugh? Oh.
I would never do that.
Ooh. Sorry.
I mean, we were playing.
No, I know,
That
but
time, but
I'm saying, we're talking about hide and seek, which is a game, so.
the suitcase originally is in our closet, buried all the way to the back. If you, I know the CSI people saw our closet. Our closet needs to be cleaned out really bad. My son's clothes need to be cleaned out really bad because they don't fit him anymore.
I'm sorry. I gotta hear that no again.
No.
It's this yes.
So it was just kind of like that prop was there, and it was there,
Yes.
and it was inside.
That's so aggressive.
No, I'm just asking, in the past, like, have you ever zipped him up in anything, jokingly or not? But obviously,
No.
I understand you know, you're claiming that Sunday it was a joking matter, you were laughing, he was laughing. But what I'm just asking is in the past, like, is it something that you guys normally do?
Absolutely.
Oh my god.
We're actually this last game running out of space is too high because we have a town hall where it's upstairs or downstairs. So
Okay, so do you remember
The male detective checked his phone. He's like, yeah, she's lying.
making any videos or maybe having any any photos, videos that you remember doing on your phone on Sunday? No.
I think I took a picture of a dog.
But your phone is password protected, you have the password,
Oh my
you have
God.
the facial recognition, so it's not like someone else could be on your phone.
No, I have both.
But you have the face and the password.
Yes.
Yeah, but he only has the
So
face.
she's securing that, oh, yeah, somebody else could have taken this video. You can still take video through iPhone, but she's just getting some more ducks in a row.
Correct? No. To be able to get onto your phone, you told me that he looks at the phone.
Oh, I misunderstood. I thought you were asking if I did. Yes.
Okay. Does he have access to your phone? Because you said it's your phone. How does he have access?
Sarah, can I buy your phone? Yeah, it's right there on the kitchen counter.
Okay, but how does he get into it? Because it's password protected.
He'll come and get it to me and I'll just do the face thing. Where sometimes too, like look, he'll joke with me and say, okay, I need to borrow your phone. And he'll hold it while I'm cooking, do the facial recognition.
Okay, so he doesn't know the password and he doesn't have the facial recognition.
Oh my god, the
So
computer's
he's the
coming.
only
Oh
other
my
person that
god.
would use your phone, I'm
Yes.
assuming other
Well,
than,
Lucas.
right. So Lucas wasn't there Sunday, right. So,
Brace yourself.
to your recollection, no videos on Sunday.
Oh!
Not that I'm aware of.
Oh, she really doesn't know.
I maybe took a picture of them, the two of Tess and the dog, and George and them dancing, but I mean, or it's just Tess.
Okay. So I have something that I want to show you that we found.
Oh my god.
Um,
Oh my god. Now,
and-
because I don't want you to get blue balled, she's gonna pull out the laptop, and the laptop is starting to die. So what you're actually gonna see is they're gonna pull up the video, and then Sarah's gonna kind of know that something's coming, and then they're gonna have to go charge the laptop, and she's gonna be in hell for a couple minutes.
It was from your phone. You see it?
That's the video. That's him.
No, I don't.
For everything you've done to me. For everything you've done to me.
Your battery's about to die.
Oh, okay. The battery doesn't last very long.
Oh my god, what is she gonna say in between this? I've seen this part. I don't remember though. It's been a while.
No, I was just simply asking to, had a look on your face. She asked you if you've ever done that before. You looked kind of shocked.
No,
Why did you say it like that? Like,
I don't think you all understand who I am. Where, I mean, I've always been a straight A student. I am an
Straight A's has
outstanding
nothing to do with
time.
murder.
I excel at everything. I would not do that.
The you know me defense.
Well, I mean, like, completely block it. I mean, I opened it with one finger. I left enough in there for us to get out. And I wasn't planning on going upstairs and going to sleep.
I could open that suitcase with one finger. I left enough room for him to get out. He could have opened it with one finger if he wanted to. This is all his fault. It's basically what she's saying.
no, it's just the way you said it.
You guys are scaring me.
We just want you to watch this. It came from your phone. You want to know what's on it?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you want to know what's on the phone, Sarah? Dude, she is such a somebody in chat said it best. I saw somebody say, ha 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 ha, what a loser. That's exactly the type of response I'm trying to have in this channel. She said, how long is it? I don't know how much I can take. Trust me, girl, there's a lot more coming. Jail time, gonna meet some new friends in there, real nasty food, court time, a bunch of attorneys you don't like. Oh, there's so much more coming, Sarah.
Do I have to watch it?
Yeah, you do. Yes,
I
Sarah.
continuously throw up. I don't sleep. I don't want to see it. If that's okay.
Nope.
Well, it's on your phone,
She
And
just realized.
you can either explain it or we take it for what it is.
Yep.
We're just trying to give you the opportunity to tell us what's going on. That's it.
Wow, a nice little bit of manipulation by the officers. We'll take this video at face value. She knows what it is. Or you can explain yourself. And Sarah will always take the opportunity to manipulate you and explain her side of the story.
It's that long, 2 minutes.
For everything you've done to me.
That's you, your voice.
Dude. Some of you guys haven't heard the actual audio of this. He is calling her name, the one person there that can help, and her response is, "That's my name, don't wear it out."
Last time we talked to you, you said that you put him in the suitcase, you had 2 fingers hanging out.
I flipped him over. I flipped him over, and that's where it was.
There's 2 different videos and a still picture where, yeah, it shows you flipping him in different positions and him saying that he can't breathe and you saying fuck.
So this is upside down. So in order for him to have gotten into it,
It was flipped up.
right, it was flipped up normal,
Yes.
like as if you're packing something. So this is upside down.
Guys, this is killing me right now.
So this image
Almost
is,
like she kicked it. She said she flipped it over, but I could totally see her because she loves kicking him when he's down. And in this case, he is literally down in the suitcase, defenseless.
and then this small video that occurred 11 minutes later, it's flipped over the other way, closer to your dining room table.
Okay.
Now he's obviously still in there. So he didn't, how did it go from the back to the front?
I flipped.
Okay.
My plan was not to go upstairs and go to sleep,
Oh,
Well, that's what you did.
but not intentional love.
No, you told me you went upstairs.
Oh,
Because what?
my favorite one. That wasn't my intention. Well, I'm sorry you took it that way. I'm sorry that happened, but that wasn't my intention. That's not what I because I didn't mean to make you feel sad. I just meant to tell you how I felt. You shouldn't feel that way. Oh.
You were
Stop
getting
here.
ready for bed.
Stop here.
Okay, but show me where you can see any fingers coming out, because there's the end.
It's, and his head's right here.
Mm-hmm.
So going like this, rather than going all the way up, it's like this.
But why is he saying I can't breathe, and why is he pushing on it as if he can't get out?
It doesn't show a hole.
There's no hole. There's no fingers. I don't see his fingers. There's no hole.
I don't know what you want me to tell you. Like, I don't know, like, what you want me to tell you.
I'm just telling you what we see and what we've heard from the
I
other video.
understand. I understand.
He's begging for you to let him out. You're laughing in the beginning, and then in the end, it sounds kind of like a,
No, it's not malicious.
Well, same.
It's not malicious.
Then what is that?
Sorry.
what is, you mean, to you?
Sorry.
Well,
Like if I were to tell my
oh, like he
partner-
does. Like, I get told everything but a white woman, so my intention was not to leave him in there.
Oh, my intention.
Please understand that. My intention was not to leave him in there.
But you went upstairs thinking.
I'm not that person. I may have done this. It might have happened. And it might have happened on my watch, in my house, at my hand. But that wasn't my intention. Sometimes these things just happen.
Thinking that he could get himself
Yes.
out, but the video shows
That's
at
what I
no
told
point
you.
can I see his fingers.
He'll be
it
up here
looks
any
like-
minute.
So dumb, dude.
And then 30 minutes later, he didn't show.
And he's telling you.
And I
he can't
didn't wake
breathe.
up.
Do you think
Not
he's
able to get
joking?
out.
You told me he was laughing, and
We were
the
before.
video, there's no
When we
laughing.
first got in there, both of us were.
So how long was he in there for? Like, this video is at 11:12 when it starts, so was he in there for like a long time prior to
No.
recording this?
No. No.
So it goes from funny to no longer funny,
But
and
I
you're
didn't,
the only one laughing.
but I didn't think that he was, like, panicky. Like,
So pushing up on a suitcase saying, Sarah, 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 I can't breathe.
George has done that in the past before too, where it's just like, he thinks that he's woe is me kind of thing, where it's like, I
Well,
don't.
he's never been locked in a suitcase, that's
No.
where he couldn't get out, so.
It's kind of, I thought it was
And
the
you
boy
have the oxygen.
crying wolf kind of thing.
Okay.
And again, my
But,
plan.
but nowhere in there is he laughing, is he joking, he is begging.
Mm-hmm.
And you're the only one laughing,
Okay.
and you're the only one saying derogatory comments, like you're mad.
No. Please don't, I don't mean to sound negative, and I don't know if I can say this, but like, it's like you guys are kind of trying to like feed me. Like,
No, I'm just trying to show you a video that you no longer want to watch because you probably don't want to know the outcome of how and what you said.
well, I know what,
You know what's on that video now?
No.
You remember making that video?
No.
Why don't you remember making the video?
probably because he had been drinking.
Because you were drunk. Miss, I had 2, maybe 3 glasses of wine, but I don't get drunk.
Because I went upstairs and, just
You
because
told
you're
us-
drunk doesn't mean
told us
that you,
times that you were not drunk. You said that you had your wits about you. You said he had his wits about you. You said that you don't like not having your wits. In my experience, if somebody cannot remember doing something to the extent of making 2 videos and taking a photo, they are intoxicated.
okay, I understand where you all are coming from.
Well,
I
we're
get
just
it.
trying to make sense of it. We're trying to
get it.
figure out
We're
what
trying
you're
to
saying.
figure out this
You
video.
explain it to us. We're listening.
I just did, like, we were playing, and then, like, I thought it was, my plan was not to go upstairs and go to sleep. My plan was not to, he'll be up here any minute, but you willingly
Dude,
went.
honestly, Sarah would have been better off saying that she was wasted, blackout drunk from the beginning and didn't remember anything.
Went upstairs and went to sleep. No one forced you to go upstairs and get
My
ready
plan
for
wasn't
bed.
also to leave him in the suitcase.
Okay.
Why do I care so much what people think about me?
okay.
Where can I go to, talk, I guess, specifically about queer stuff?
Here is a popular recipe for seared duck.
My plan wasn't also to leave him in the suitcase. So why didn't you take him out? Because I went upstairs and then I fell asleep.
But why didn't you consciously think he's asking to come out?
I didn't do it intentionally.
What do you think is gonna
I didn't do it intentionally.
a confined space like that?
Well, I thought by not giving it up all the way, it would be okay. My plan was not to put him in the
What was
suitcase,
your plan?
waiting for him to come upstairs.
And then when he did it?
I fell asleep.
You said you were up there 30 minutes. After 30 minutes, somebody not coming up.
Knowing that the last time you saw him was in the suitcase, 30 minutes later, you're like, maybe I should go check on him, maybe I shouldn't?
No.
That didn't cross your mind. because
That's
it didn't happen.
that's like an assumption. Like, that's what you all are thinking. Just,
We're asking.
it's the
You
whole,
tell us.
it's the drinking.
A new
That's
person
what
to
it is.
blame? A new thing to blame?
It's the drinking. I thought it was like, I thought he was okay. Like, I didn't, you all,
He's telling you he's not. He's telling you, Sarah, I can't breathe. He's saying your name and you're like, that's my name, don't wear it out.
guys, that's how we are with each other. Like,
That's just how we are.
nobody understands our relationship.
Oh my god. Okay, hold on. Let's see. You know what? Let's give it a little kick forward. Oh.
They come up to me in that apartment complex, said that you would work on a daily basis.
Oh my gosh.
Regularly.
Right.
No.
Really?
Right.
No.
Talk to the property manager. Talk to the property manager.
Okay.
Because it's not,
These are your neighbors, the one that live next to you. Your property manager does not live next to you. They see you every day. How many,
Oh my
you had two neighbors you went
gosh.
to and asked to go to
See,
the
that is
restroom.
just
and
not
they said,
fair.
Hold on. You had two different neighbors that lived directly next to you. You asked to use the restroom and they told you no, turned you away. You had to go across the way to somebody else.
Because they
No,
know she's
okay.
a mess.
Tim and Eli. Tim is not a nice person.
Oh, I was about to say she ready to throw Kim and Eli under the bus.
He's just automatically not nice. Even after me and Lucas went over
She's
there
not
and introduced
nice.
ourselves, she's just not a nice person.
Then why would you think she would let you use a restroom?
Because Eli was in there. Eli comes.
Let me be clear. Everyone except me is a bitch. I know I said I didn't want anything to drink with her. You said ginger ale or something. Give me a beer and I'll talk because I can't take this right now, okay? And also, I'm getting aggressive because we drank a lot last night and now I need a beer to calm myself down. So if you don't get me one, then I'm not gonna be able to talk to you rationally. I'm getting so upset and defensive right now because I just need.
Over and talks to us sometimes, which I think pisses Tim off because he comes over and talks to us. The two of them, they're like super standoffish all the time. My neighbors down the street, down the way, their toilet was broken. They had stuff in the bathroom. So then they're like, go over there and try over there.
There's two bathrooms.
I wouldn't let somebody go upstairs and use my personal bathroom. That's what the downstairs one is for.
If it's somebody you like, would you? If somebody
They're in the process of putting all this stuff in the kitchen.
If it's somebody you like, wouldn't you?
I get it. Look, I get it. That was really bad. So that's what scares me. Like, what do I need to plan on? Like, what do I need to plan on? I promise you.
Oh my God, she's.
On my side.
I will say this: Sarah Boone is an idiot, okay? But she is very manipulative.
I promise you. On Lucas's life, it was not. Please. It's documented. You said that, yeah.
Documented that you said.
Do you have any idea when I can get my phone back?
Act like it doesn't exist.
What do you say?
I just said, no, tell them. I mean, our digital forensics unit is, got a lot of cases on her plate. I mean,
Well, and that's not technically my laptop, it's Lucas's laptop. But he plays, you'll see all the games that he had on there.
as soon as we can get that back to Lucas, we will. As soon as we can release your phone, we will. But we have no way.
All right, let's come on, let's swab them hands.
Are you trying to make it worse? Are you trying to make it worse?
Make what worse?
How I feel?
Hey, hold on, did you guys just hear that one?
Are you trying to make it worse? trying to make it worse? How I feel?
Are you trying to make how I feel worse right now? Sir, I'm a victim here.
I'm just gonna take a swab and go around on one hand and then you sit around for your other hand.
Someone said, oh my god. That's another thing too. They'll do something wrong and then try to accuse you of blaming them because you did something bad.
What do you mean? He asked to swear. Remember how I swore you yesterday on the audio recording? I just forgot, so you raised your hand to remind me to tell you. Okay. Do you promise and swear that everything we talked about today has been true and accurate to the best of your knowledge? Or which true and accurate to the best of your knowledge?
She knows they about to take her in.
Everything you've said today, everything that's come out of your mouth has been true and accurate to the best of your knowledge. To the best of my knowledge. Correct. Yes. Why?
To assure that everything that we've talked about is
True and accurate.
Do you guys think that Sarah thinks that she's going home today? I think she does. I think she thinks despite the video, she's gonna have time to get home, get the bottle, figure it out.
Best of that person's knowledge.
not a trick question.
Yep.
To the best of my knowledge.
To the best of your knowledge.
Everything that you've told us today is true and accurate to the best of your knowledge. Yes, but it was not intentional. Okay.
All right, do me a favor, stand up. You turn around, face the wall.
Get on up. Sorry,
Sorry.
guys. I'm sorry. You don't have to be here. I apologize.
Why is it happening?
Because George is dead.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. That.
Not intentionally. We understand.
He's still dead.
Someone needs to call Brian, please. Okay. Or can I not make a phone call?
Her ex-husband. Her ex-husband that literally divorced her, and she's still bothering him years later.
I'm gonna get you down to the jail.
So why is this happening? This was a trick.
We just told you.
That was a trick. I'm in here to ask you to explain a few things to us, and
You read your rights.
your response to everything was
Poor.
basically, I didn't do it.
Intentionally.
Intentionally. No, dude, not intentionally. All right, well, the Sarah Boone trial is supposed to start in early April. Like I said, she's fired her last four, attorneys. We'll see if they make it through. I don't know.